and it seems like the president's tune is changing, Brian.
Yeah, I mean, first off, just to reframe, I believe sequester is coming to a close. It's tomorrow, and there's going to be a big meeting. We'll talk about that tomorrow. And we do know that the president has talked in the past about closing campgrounds, no longer be able to open up parks. We talked about hundreds of teachers, thousands of teachers are going to get pink slips, thousands of border agents that are no longer going to be able to patrol the border.
What about meat?
You can't inspect the meat. It's going to be impossible to inspect meat. We know that. So now, for 24 hours to inspect meat, they're working like crazy to get your flank steak. Meanwhile, the president yesterday realizes we're coming to a deadline, and there's a chance I've overstated a little bit. Read between the lines.
Unless your business is directly related to the Defense Department, unless you live in a town that is directly impacted by a military installation, unless you're a family that now is trying to figure out where to keep your kids during the day because you just lost a Head Start slot, a lot of people may not notice the full impact of this sequester. But this is going to be a big hit on the economy.
The headline here, folks, is the president's strategy did not work. I mean, the strategy all along here was to push Republicans back into the corner like he did at the end of the year with regard to the debt ceiling and having to raise taxes. He was going to try that approach again because every poll up until that point said, yep, people were on his side. But that didn't work this time. He expected probably the Republicans to budge because of public image and leading into the midterm elections coming up, just a few 18, 19, 20 months away from now. But it didn't work. So now he has to backtrack on his strategy. Why? Because come Friday or Saturday, if suddenly the world didn't fall apart, his credibility would fall apart.
Like the Mayans.
Exactly.
We don't believe them at all anymore.
Plus, the White House was caught in a couple of lies. Arnie Duncan, the Secretary of Education, on one of the Face the Nation on Sunday, had said, yeah, teachers, the pink slips are already coming out.
40,000.
Oh, yeah. Where? There's a place in West Virginia. Well, they checked. There are some pink slips going out, but it has to do with state law, and it's unrelated. And then yesterday, Arnie Duncan doubled down, and he was talking about, you know, a lot of poor kids and a lot of challenged kids are going to wind up with less care. Well, as it turns out, the funding for those programs are forward funded. In other words, all that stuff actually would happen next year. So the White House has been caught in some lies because they have really, over the last couple of weeks, scared the living daylights out of people. Listen to this.
In a few days, Congress might allow a series of immediate, painful, arbitrary budget cuts to take place, known in Washington as the sequester. Now, if Congress allows this meat cleaver approach to take place, it will jeopardize our military readiness. It will eviscerate job-creating investments in education and energy and medical research. Early education, like Head Start and Early Start, would be eliminated for nearly 1,000 children. Border Patrol agents will see their hours reduced. FBI agents will be furloughed. Federal prosecutors will have to close cases and let criminals go. Air traffic controllers and airport security will see cutbacks. And that which means more delays at airports across the country. Tens of thousands of parents will have to scramble to find child care for their kids. Hundreds of thousands of Americans will lose access to primary care and preventive care, like flu vaccinations and cancer screenings. So these cuts are wrong. They're not smart. They are not fair. They will hurt our economy. They're a self-inflicted wound that doesn't have to happen. Unless your business is directly related to the Defense Department, unless you live in a town that is directly impacted by a military installation, unless you're a family that now is trying to figure out where to keep your kids during the day because you just lost a Head Start slot, a lot of people may not notice the full impact of this sequester. But this is going to be a big hit on the economy.
So after all of that...
I'm scared to death, by the way.
Then last night he goes, you know, maybe you're not going to notice it.